Welcome to the Donna Seebo Show. Donna is an international mental practitioner, psychic, award-winning author, counselor, speaker, teacher, and radio television talk show personality. She brings to the airwaves talented people from around the world who share their insights and experiences with you, the listening audience. Now, let's join Donna.
Hello, wherever you are in this wonderful planet of ours. I hope you are enjoying a magnificent day or evening. Donna Seebo here, and today we have a subject matter about leadership. And I found that Salar Khan, the gentleman that I'm interviewing today, is a man who's walked a very unique path. He's walked a path that is engaged in medicine on many different levels, but more than that, he has found that if one really wants to become a leader in whatever field they choose, that there are certain things that they need to be aware of. His publication is called Unlocking the Natural Born Leader's Abilities. It's about his life, the lessons he's learned, and how his life can be an example for anyone, but also the fact that you, as an individual, you can develop qualities of leadership that maybe others have already seen demonstrated in you, but you can really believe in yourself and apply it wherever you are. Salar Khan, I want to thank you for being with me today because I found your story so fascinating because it starts in a wonderful way in a part of the Middle East. You come from a very good family. I'm really looking forward to sharing your story with my audience. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Donna, for inviting me for this interview. Thank you.
Salar,
ready to talk to the audience.
Yes. Salar, you are a man. You have a medical degree. You've worked as an internist and a pulmonologist at Karachi, Pakistan. You were the chief of medicine, you were an acting director of medical services, and acting hospital director at Al-Midhab General Hospital under the Ministry of Health in Saudi Arabia. This went from 1985 to 1983, and then you were an associate professor of medicine at the Bakai Medical College and Hospital in Karachi, Pakistan from 1993 to 1994. And then you ended up coming to the United States. But let's go back into your family history. Your mother and your father were really just absolutely incredibly wonderful parents. And they really, really were very committed to family and raising you and your siblings in a way that set a pattern for yourself for your entire life. You really had a very good foundational background.
Yeah, you are right, absolutely correct. And whatever I am today, that is only because of my parents, because I learned how to obey my parents, what they say, I have to follow them, understand that one. They gave me opportunity at home from the very beginning. And I was lucky enough at the age of 12 years when my school shift changed to afternoon instead of morning. So I was having plenty of time during the day. So I will finish my work for the school and everything, and then I have no more to do. Then I asked my mother permission, can I help her in the kitchen and all domestic affairs and all those things. Then she said, welcome. First you tell me you have done all your school work. I say yes. And then I started working, and whatever she told me, I was doing it. And in that way, I learned how to organize the home and all those things. And I was keeping my garden very nicely look and moving and all those things. And then I was start washing the dishes and cloth washing and helping in the kitchen for preparing the food and all. So I noticed that my mother was preparing food for 6 people and 3 times in a day. It is a full-time work. And then she is also paying attention for our choices of the breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And really, it was very hard. But she was doing very nicely, and then she was managing everybody's time to go for the college and school. When they back, everything is ready. So I observe and I learn myself the time management. And I'm still using those type of skill which I got it as a time management, and until now, I never have any difficulty in keeping my work, goal, achievements on timely fashion, dealing with huge projects at work, and then I am accomplishing all those projects prior to the deadline 2-3 weeks before. So this is really the good learning from my parents, number one. And number two is the organizational skill is also very important. And then it creates my mind the more clarity, clear vision. And then my mother told, and my father also told me that whenever we are giving you any task, you can split into the smaller component, and then you start working and thinking, and then you think yourself how you are going to implement that, and then you start working on it, and after the accomplishment of that task, feel happy in your heart that you have done something good for the day. And then they reassure me time to time, Salar, you can do it. You can do it. We know you have ability to do it. So it increase my moral, boost my thinking, moral motivation to keep and continue. So in that way, I learn all those things, the motivational things, organizational skills, clarity of mind, how to achieve the goal, how to implement for the achievement of the goal. These things are very important. And once I achieve and feel happy, it adds on my self-confidence. And then I feel very energetic. And then I think that, okay, I can go for another task, another challenge. I ask my parents, do you have anything else for me? They say, yes, do it. Another example, another challenge. So this was going on. And then when I was in a high school, only one time my father came to me and said, Salar, no one is doctor in our family. I want you to become a doctor. Do you do this? And I was 100% ready for engineering, mathematics. My mathematics was superb, 100% score I was getting it. My physics, chemistry, everything. But the way my father told me, I said, okay, this is another challenge for me. I will do it. I want to become a doctor. And then I worked very hard to prepare myself for the medical school exams and all those things. And I got admission. I was the top 10 in the city of Karachi. And there was only one medical college, Donna Medical College. So I achieved that target. I become a good doctor. So this is all about my early childhood and everything. And one thing more I want to add. In the beginning, I was just like a ordinary boy and not intelligent at all as compared to my elder brother. So, but because of my hard work and I developed my thinking process, and my father teach me how to analyze your error and mistake and how to correct it. And after that, I polishing myself every time. And then I improve myself. And I try all those things to my 2 kids. And then I give them a daily story for 10 years. And then they are also very good and now both becoming a doctor. So this is all about things.
Salar, when I was reading your material on developing leadership, many of the points that you have just brought out are very significant. And I think that because of the way you were able to assess what your mother was doing was effective time management. And this is something that I think many people do not understand. That, for example, when women are working in the home, to be able to balance everything, to get those 3 meals on the table, it takes organization, it takes planning, the very point that you brought out, time management. She's aware of certain rhythms. And in working with those rhythms, then she was able to accomplish what her objectives were, and to be able to support her children as well as her husband. Lots of times this kind of a role is demeaned without understanding that it does take exactly that: time management, organization, planning, putting meals together, coordinating different items for that meal, making sure that everything flows in a certain way. All of that requires an organizational skill. Your mother also said that she wanted you to work with sincerity and not fret over wealth. This was something that was ingrained in you by her. She wanted you to feel satisfied, and your dad also gave you homeschooling. This was something that he did for a number of years, and then you went into another schooling environment. But you bring out the point that self-confidence and trust is very, very important. And you say the natural-born leader has a curiosity. That curiosity is important, and in part that was something that you implemented. You also talk about the history that was going on in your country at that time. This was, you were born in 1954, and there was a lot of turmoil that was going on between the Hindus and the Muslims, and your parents had to come up through that. This did not have a negative effect on them, though. They chose to make life good, not to wallow in anxiousness and stress and concern. Your parents were really two very, very special people.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. That's why I learned a lot from my parents, their character, their moral, their behavior, their honesty. And they have a very good home environment. I never remember that they ever fought or discussed or abused anything at home. So we all, brothers and sisters, we all enjoy our home environment. We are all sit together. And my mother used to tell the story before we sleep at night. So a lot of caring and a lot of all those type of good environment, it definitely have a very good positive impact on my mentality and thinking. So it helped me a lot. And then a lot of things I learned through the observation, through my environment at home, at neighborhood. And I was also paying more attention because my mother used to tell me that your neighbor, she is having blood pressure, she is having some problem, nobody is at home. Can you go and help to buy the vegetable, buy the grocery for them? And then I go there and I help them. The same thing when I become a doctor. So I used to go and attend any patient in my neighborhood without taking any fee or anything else. Mm-hmm. Even I go at night to the pharmacy, buy the medicine for them, give it to them at their home with my hand, with water, and all those things. So ultimately, those type of the passion and keeping me internal satisfied and happy becoming a doctor and helping the community, helping the neighbor. So these all things making me a very strong, positive, and high moral background to do all those things. And then I develop a system in my mind to do the things in a very systematic way. So in that way, I will always try to match the time. Mm-hmm. And then it is continue. And all those things which have a foundation for me in my early childhood and is still ongoing, and it is good for me, good for my organization. When I was working as a physician, attending physician, treating the patient. So during my stay in Saudi Arabia in 5 years, I examined and treated and managed more than 65,000 patients. Mm-hmm. And then I diagnosed more than 100 very rare patients because of my good observation power, because of my good memory. I see the patient at a glance and I diagnose right away without any sophisticated lab test or anything, and I make my decision right away. So I can give you other examples later on. So this is really very good things, and really I appreciate my parents for doing extraordinary work, and that's the reason I want to tell the American people, the people who are living all over the world, if really they want to develop and person find their hidden talents and abilities, they have to start working since the beginning, mm-hmm. in the early childhood. Because Because the school, college, they will never teach you so many things. They cannot. Because once the kids go to the school, college, they are always panicking about maintaining the grade. They don't have enough time to relax, to think about themselves. And I was having a great advantage about the homeschooling. In the early days of my life, I was playing, relaxing, enjoying. Nobody bothered me about going to school or anything else. And then after a certain period of time, my father told me that, Salar, I will teach you English and math at home for 2-3 months, and then you will go to a school for the 5th grade admission. I say, okay. And then I work with him, and he teach me English, mathematics, calculations, and all those things. And then I go to the school, and I got good score, and then the school principal told me that, oh, you are good for the grade 5th to start with your school. I said, wonderful. I started that one. And then afterward, always I was top 3, top 1 in the school. In the board exams, I was top 10, and I got the admission in the medical college also. So these things are also very important because I spoke with my 2 kids, and they are always telling that you enjoy your life. Really, it was very good. But here, from kindergarten onward, we are always thinking about grades, school, long school, too much homework, no time to relax. So how they can find their hidden abilities or talents. But later on, I worked with them, and now they are also moving on the same track and path as I was. Okay, next, please.
All right. Well, you made a choice about coming to the United States. You made a choice about coming here, and in coming to the United States, you had to take an exam. And before we started talking on air, I asked you why it was that you did not qualify with the exams, because I know here in the United States you have to go through that examination process. And you said something to me that was quite interesting. You said that in Pakistan, and to qualify for medicine, that there were questions that were asked, but you had to write out the information. And here in the United States, it was multiple choice. And I thought, when you think about something like that, and there's been a number of times that I've had multiple choices on a test, and I thought in certain situations, none of the answers would apply. And I could just imagine, here you are, having had such a successful and productive career as a physician, holding very responsible positions in your country, and then to be given a multiple choice test, that is a huge, huge shift because of the difference in training. Yet you went on to do, because you had to feed your family, you went on to do some jobs that people would say, oh, this is terrible. But you said, I've got to put food on the table. And you didn't look at any job as being beneath you, which I was very impressed with. You said, no, I'm going to do whatever I have to do to feed my family. And you started working in a baggage handling situation at an airport. And you then ended up in an administration position. Of course, you go into a lot of detail in your book. But I was so impressed with the fact that you said, if I have to work, there is no job that's beneath me, and whatever I'll do it with a good attitude, and then I'll keep looking for something else that I can get into. I think that kind of a thought process and a follow-through of action process is so important, and too many times people don't look at life that way. They feel like they're entitled to something. They're not. Life sometimes is not fair.
Yeah, definitely, because you know that whenever we go through the hardship of the life and accepting various challenges at the various level of our life, so we gain confidence. Either it is a positive outcome or negative outcome. And I'm ready to learn from my mistakes and errors, to correct myself, to improve and move further. So this type of the positive thinking always helping me. I didn't care at all that at the airport I was working on $5 per hour And at one time during my lunch break, one of the colleagues told me, "Oh, how far you got your education?" I say, "Oh, just 10th grade." So he was taunting me and saying, "Salar, if you did some more education, you are not going to work here at the airport for $5. I was just smiling in my heart. I say, if I will tell you that I am the pulmonologist and doctor and this and that, so you cannot believe that one. So I said, I'm not here you to tell you that what exactly I was, but the real thing is that to picking up the race to survive in this world in a new country. So I was having my positive thinking attitude. I just smile. I say, yes, it was my fault. I didn't go through the more education. But after 3-4 months, I got another job, $7.50, and then I go to the Edgewater Medical Center as a surgical assistant, $10 per hour, and later on I promoted to the supervisor, sterilization department and all those things. I work for the various projects. I saved more than $200,000 for the hospital. They are using the stitches and sutures for the surgery, and they were not used, and they are wasting money. So we returned back to the company and get back the money for them. And I was the best employee of the year, 1997 at Edgewater. So this is all a story about the things like that. So the thing is that I never feel shy what I am, but my thing is that I have a long-term goal, what I want to do in future and where I can move, and then how time to time I will find my hidden talent and skill set, because it is my strong belief that everyone born with equal, and then everyone have different opportunities to use it and to find their hidden skill set, because my gene, our gene DNA is tuned. Everything is there in form of protein educated, and wherever my environment, home, college, school, friends, we work together, and then we go according to the various different fields. But you notice that a lot of people, after becoming a doctor, they feel that, oh, they are not good in that field. They want to become an attorney. Then they switch their career. So these things are common with the human beings. But the question is that from the very beginning, I was ready for engineering, but my father told, and I go for it, because I know that I can do it. And it is the self-confidence, faith on your own abilities. This is the leadership qualities. Anybody can do it. And now I can prepare more than 100 different type of the food without any recipe, because I saw my mother doing it, and she was never using any measurement or anything else. So that is also another hidden talent which I have. And I can prepare food for 200 people alone. And I did it in Saudi Arabia. The whole hospital I invited for the food, and I prepared myself. So these talents were there in me. And then I work on it, and I find it. And I find more than 500, 600 hidden talent in me. And I take the challenge, take the task, and do it with a strong determination and all those things.
You have in your book so many fascinating stories about what you experienced, what you went through. And I think when we can look through another person's eyes at the path that they've walked, we can learn from them. But you also feel that it's important that people realize that the abilities they have within themselves, they can do a self-assessment. And you have a chart here where you have self-assessment tools, and it's like a 1 to 5 rating, and one can go through it to assess what they really feel their value is. And you have things like, I approach tasks from new perspective and ask questions. I stay calm during stressful situations. I seek long-term gratification. I have a clear vision in my mind. There's a number of different points. You've got quite a few here in the list. And when you look at the self-assessment tool, you've put this in your book for the purpose of people doing this for themselves to evaluate themselves, whether or not they have a sense of confidence, etc. You really have made adaptations in your life that have enabled you to enjoy success. And so many times people will say, well, it's all about the money. No, it's not all about the money. We need income. We need to be able to take care of ourselves and our families. But you stress something very strongly, and that is really to be true to oneself, just to do what you said a moment ago, to examine our own inner talents. And that does take an effort. That is something that we have to be willing to look at, to find out what our strengths are, because it really does make a difference, doesn't it?
That's true, 100% true. And then I'm sure, because the reason for writing this book, to provide motivation, inspiration to the reader of my book. If I become a natural born leader, why they cannot be? Anybody can be. Anybody can do it. The question is that we have to ready to try to do something. If we are lazy and we are not learning anything, nobody can do anything. The first thing is that to tell my heart that, okay, this is my determination, I want to do it, I will do it, reassure myself, and then start with the simplicity, dividing your task, your goal, short-term, long-term, slowly and gradually, and then you can become perfect. If you have hidden talent, you can definitely find it. If not, no problem, at least you try. And after a certain time, you are not going to regret that you never tried the other field, you never tried the other kind of work. You may be able to perform very well on that different type of the work. So the only condition is try. Try yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Then we
I
know
agree.
where we stand.
I
and
agree.
I try in the different area, different field. I work everywhere. And even then at work, I never say, no, it is not my job. I always, wherever I work, I say it is calling. I have to do it. No problem. I'm ready to help the other department also if they have any issue. So in that way, I will polish and learn what the other departments are doing it. And I am adding a new skill set. And then once we go through all those process, then I noticed that I was always in a state of flow. And it was first described by the Hungarian psychologist and in 80s and 90s. And I was having that state of flow since my age of 12, 15, 16 years. When I busy in my work with my mother or something, I was so much absorbed in my work. I don't know. I have a thirst or food, desire or anything. I have to finish my work, hyper-focus, complete it, feel happy, and then I enjoy my life.
Mm-hmm.
So this state of flow is the adding our optimal experience, and that add on your new skill, build your confidence, motivation, insightfulness, and all those things. If someone who is a doctor, so definitely they are going to be a good doctor if they are sincere with the patient. Nowadays, medicine is money-making because they have a lot of debt in their tuition fee and everything. They are worried. Most of the doctors, they are suffering from burnout and all those things. But I'm telling that it's not necessary to run behind the money, to follow the money or something. Money will come automatically. The real thing is internal satisfaction. If today I have $10 million, $20 million, it will give me 10, 15, 20 minutes happiness. And then after a few days, it is gone. But whatever I did, whatever I performed, whatever I helped the people, I feel very happy inside my heart. I say that, okay, I did something good. And then if you have time, I can just give you one or two examples of my patient. So it will help our physicians and doctors working anywhere in the world. Because I belong to third world country. We don't have the much resources for the lab tests and all those things. So our professor, they train our fingers how to palpate, enlarge liver, spleen, abdomen, and all these things, and look for the clinical finding and make your on-spot diagnosis. And then that diagnosis, and right away start the treatment, that is the best way to perform well, not waiting for the lab report. We are working in a remote area. No facilities are available. So I was working in Saudi Arabia. I was going to the ER to see my patient. I got the call, and then I saw another room, the pediatrician seeing the 6-year-old boy and whose neck was turned to the right side, and it cannot be straight or anything. Pediatrician was thinking that it is a meningitis. He wanted to do the lumbar puncture. When I saw at a glance, then immediately I interrupt the pediatrician. I said, sorry, I interrupt. This is a piece, it's your case, but I don't think this patient require any lumbar puncture to do the meningitis test or something. And if you allow me, can I ask 2 questions to the father? He said, yes. And then I asked father, this child was having any vomiting, and went to the primary care, and he gave some injection. He said, yes. And then after that, he was having vomiting. He said, yes. My diagnosis was done. And then I asked the nurse to bring the Valium injection and dilute into the distilled water and slow IV push. And as soon as the injection was injecting slowly and gradually, the neck of the child was turning back to normal, and it was fully relaxed, and child was starting running here and there, and everybody was looking at me. What I did, I said nothing, because it was the side effect of that anti-emetic drug, and which caused the neck torticollis or the neck dystonia, and I give Valium to relax. Now you admit the child, do your lab work to exclude any differential diagnosis, but I don't think there is anything. Everything will be fine. Next day you can discharge. And everything was done right away. So this is the value of the on-spot diagnosis.
Salar Khan, it has been a delight having you as a guest, and obviously you thoroughly enjoyed being a physician. In your book also, you have the information about intuition, developing that intuitive part of ourselves. The book is a fascinating read. You've won a couple of awards already. The title of it is Unlocking the Natural Born Leader's Abilities. This is an autobiographical expose by Salar Khan, physician and also an administrator, a man that has, well, demonstrated that throughout the changes that life may present you, you can be a person that can be a leader, be an example to someone else just by being the best of who you are. You can go to his website, Dr., and that's spelled out, D-O-C-T-O-R, Salar Khan. And Salar is S-A-L-A-R Khan, drsalarkhan.com. Dr. Khan, I really appreciate your time. I appreciate your book, and I appreciate your being in our country because I think you have contributed a great deal. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. And it was a great opportunity for me to give some heads up about my book. And really, I'm ready to prepare the new generation of the leadership, starting from the childhood onward. So we can have a good opportunity and good people, good, honest leadership to manage for the betterment of the world. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. Donna Seebo here. We are going to be taking a break. Stay with me, and that telephone line is now open, 253-582-5597.